Hi, it's Joy and today I'm going to be watching Fargo Season 2, Episode 5, The Gift of the Magi. Magi. I tried looking up how to pronounce that and I'm now more confused than I was before. But it did remind me that I did recognise that word. It is the name that the three wise men were given, so the gift of the three wise men, etc. is what this title is. I am really excited for this. Thank you so much, Albert, for sponsoring this season. I am really enjoying it and we're reaching the point where the things continued. If I remember last, like how they paced Season 1 was like explosive beginning, then really interesting middle where things kept piling and piling and a few dominoes fell, you know, a few Jenga wobbles, and then it's all going to explode eventually. So we're on episode 5 of 10. This is the midway point. I'm excited. A reminder that you can find the unedited version of these reactions on my Patreon and you get those 2 weeks ahead of YouTube. And you can also get the edited YouTube version 1 week in advance as well. And you can be amazing like Albert and sponsor shows if you would like. But I'm ready, let's go. Goodness, they're getting ready for the war. Very ready for this war. Or is this just a hunting trip?
Butcher. A butcher?
Mm-hmm. Oh, he's getting him to lie.
Probably the day he left. See? The citizens of this great nation want
getting everything he wanted. Please miss. That was not funny in the slightest because a man just got killed, but striking when they're not expecting it. Crime war has broken out. I remembered, ooh, while I was editing, that Molly's dad gets shot, doesn't he, during all of this? It's a good old battlefield. So tough, aren't you, Mr. Big Crime Boss? This is the world you live in and the world you perpetuate. Oh my god, is he actually dying? That woman is always baking in the back.
You can bet they're gonna come back at us hard.
So, yeah, look real excited. I wonder if anyone else you love is going to die.
To California.
The cops know about it. A crime family's after you.
What are you saying?
I mean, it's if you want to live, leave.
You gotta be realistic.
No,
A crime family.
that was whatever comes.
His brain is short-circuiting, but
it'll deal with us.
yeah,
I'm buying the shop.
that is such a sad, like, I'm willing to die for this butcher shop.
It's too late.
Is she off to see Milligan? I don't think he's going to be too happy.
It's because Dad hits her when she looks sad.
Probably.
I would have said.
I mean, I think she would have done. She hates her family.
I want to know what they're gonna do before they do it.
She's right scared now, so she will be getting all the information she can. Her father will kill her if he finds out. They'll kill her when they're done with her. You've been far better off having a rebellion by leaving the crime lifestyle.
What happened to Gerhardt?
Run over by local beautician.
Mm-hmm.
Stuck in her windshield.
I'm stressed. I don't... Go home now, child.
Guess I'm dead.
Don't say that, child, because you're gonna die at this rate.
No witnesses.
Mm-hmm. I don't really care if you're dead, but please don't kill the young lady whose name I don't remember. Oh god. Is he gonna not be able to do it and leave?
I read that
Oh yeah?
last year. It's pretty depressing.
Is he gonna leave because he doesn't want to kill her? Oh god.
Oh. Here's Ed now.
He didn't do it, he just bought some meat. He's gonna go in there himself. It's not that easy when you look him in the face. Especially when there's someone you don't want to kill involved. Is this for the seminar or is she gonna run away by herself? What is Ed gonna do when he finds out she's not there? Is Ed even gonna survive long enough to figure out that she's not there? She's gonna drive to California? Or is she driving home because she can't leave him? Talk to the man properly. Or is she gonna sell the car so that she can pay for his butcher shop for him?
What do you want to thank you for your service this family. Your mom.
Yeah, he's more loyal to your brother.
My dad too.
You actually like it, huh? Taking orders from a woman.
From his mother.
Looks to us.
He looks wrong with only one kitchen.
Do you really think we'll get out of this mess we're in?
I mean, yeah, but there are like several thousand bigger ones coming up. I really hope she lived and died when Molly was 23 or something. There are aliens in this season, confirmed.
And they actually gave me the trick, and not candy.
There's candy?
Eat something green and we'll talk.
So we're rooting for Nausea then, huh?
Placebos are you can trick yourself into thinking you've got them.
Your mom were here, she'd know just what to say. Names.
I love the souls, him and the whole Solson family. They just get my heart.
Tell him I'm ready for school.
Oh,
Back.
yeah.
I want to go.
He's not made for the crime life. Is Maureen here? Please don't be here. Plus, I don't see Ed dying at this point, though maybe he will now that his wife has decided to stay, it seems. Just do it. If you're going to do it, just do it. Oh, no. Oh, gosh. Well, he's not getting his butchers after all. Ah! Oh, my God. His dream's going up in smoke. Oh. Yeah, that guy would have been better off picking up the gun. Oh. Oh.
Are we still alive? Gotta take them.
Yeah, he couldn't do it. And he's still a person. That's her home as well, isn't it? She's not a dog to whistle to. Just shoot him. Someone, please. In Fargo. Yep, there's a knife. Stab him with it.
You let that girl alone.
Yeah, you've raised a wonderful boy here.
Get upstairs now, darling.
You saw stuff like this coming. Noreen needs protection now, right?
We need to pack. I killed another fella. Maybe.
Yep.
And Lou was right. They came.
Yep.
The other fella that you hit, his family, they came.
When they're possibly here for your protection as well. But you did also flee the crime scene. Love this show. My main takeaway from that episode is that I'm really glad Noreen survived. She's not involved in any of this. She's like a sweet kid. I love Fargo. I really enjoy the seasons. We're definitely at the same. I remember the same thing happening last season, where the mid episodes they were not quite as action packed, and I was worrying that I wasn't reacting enough. So I'm really sorry if this is a really boring reaction. I hope it isn't. But I am just so invested in this show, and I love how they weave these stories and the events and all the different characters and how they come together. So starting off with Ed and his wife, whose name Peggy's that wife. I don't know. Maybe it's Peggy. I don't know. Starting with them. I really like the fact that this episode she actually chose to fight for their marriage. We saw her have that moment where she looked at the wedding photo and then was like, and then she was going to go. She was going to take off to California, leave him to deal with the mess, just leave him. And I think the fact that she chose to, spur of the moment, sell the car, get the money for him, was a really, really big and important gesture. And I think if it had come at a time when they weren't in the middle of a murder investigation, they actually might have been able to build a really good marriage, because maybe her making that gesture for him would have allowed him to listen to what she was saying and what she wanted. And at the end of the day, if their marriage were to survive in normal circumstances, she would need to decide if she wanted kids or not, because he desperately wants kids. And if she has come to the conclusion that, you know, it's nearly the 80s, it's not the 50s anymore, if I don't want kids, I don't have to have them, then they should break up, etc. But I was really proud of her for, in that moment, you know, acknowledging that he had a point too, and acknowledging that she had been a bit selfish in spending the money, and doing what she could to make it up to him. And it could have been a really great moment for their relationship if he hadn't just been attacked by the same hitmen that he was so convinced couldn't come. I mean, I'm sorry, the minute you find out that you accidentally murdered a crime family person, I would be leaving England if I could. I would be like, I have Australian citizenship, I'm off. So I think he was being a bit naive, but he's very much got kind of fixated on that's the life I want, that's my future. It would be kind of funny if this show did end with him getting that, but no, he is known to have committed crimes, and if anything, he's perverted the course of justice, and so is she. So I'm intrigued about what's going to happen next. That fight, there was a point where I was genuinely considering that he could die. I did think it was slightly early in the show for him to die. I thought maybe Noreen, I was really scared she would die and be like collateral damage along the way. What would he feel if he'd got her killed, etc. But there kind of was a moment where I was like, or maybe now that his wife has decided to be there for him and to make it work together, he will die. But he didn't. He killed the random Gerhardt henchman number 7. He saved Gerhardt's grandson. He's not dead. Is that going to earn him any points with the Gerhardts that he could have left him to die and he didn't? Noreen really was the one that did it, but you know, he tried to swing that. And I think running from the crime scene, I get that he didn't want, if he got brought in for questioning, then they might try and hold him over what happened previously with the other Gerhardt person, especially when they figure out that these are more Gerhardts. You know, I think he's in a very sticky situation right now. But unless they were going to be able to run out that door in that very second, the cops were always going to come to the house. There would probably be Melix wanting to make sure he's like okay, and then cops to A, give them protection because there's a crime family trying to kill them, and B, figure out, you know, he murdered a man today. Now, it was in self-defense, again. This one purely self-defense, but you need to look into that and make sure. You know, you don't run away from a crime that you've been involved in, even if you're the victim. You need to really stay, otherwise it's suspicious. So I'm intrigued about what's going to happen next. I imagine they're going to get brought in for some kind of questioning, or they're going to be told, oh, we're a protective detail, and kind of try and question them that way, but I don't see them getting to flee at the beginning of the next episode. And I wonder, I mean, if I base it on the last season of Fargo, then basically everyone in this show who has nefarious purposes will likely end up failing, which might mean they'll end up in prison or dead. I kind of hope they end up in prison. I don't think they are bad people. I think they are somewhat selfish people, like somewhat slightly up on the selfish meter than normal people, but at the same time I think they're in extreme circumstances. I'm glad Noreen is alive for a moment. After he stabbed the guy in the head, I was like, what if he just thinks, oh, if I shoot Noreen then I can say they killed her, and I was defending, like, I'm glad that he's not a despicable person. That kind of reassured me that Ed's moral compass is not completely skewed at this point in the show. Lester at this point in the show would have murdered Noreen and the kid. I'm really annoyed that I don't remember saying this. Master Gerhardt. Then with him, he has all season been so gung-ho about being in the crime family. He wants in. He wants to be taken seriously. His dad doesn't take him seriously. His dad is doing what his mum wanted, but it doesn't matter. He wants to be serious. Yeah. When it came down to it, knowing how to fire a gun is very different to walking in and murdering a man who just seems like your average Joe. And knowing that you have to murder a girl you quite like, you know, you could be friends with or even more, but like a girl you make a connection with, someone that is innocent, she's young, she does not deserve to die, she has not done anything to slight your family. I like that he wasn't able to do it. And maybe if Noreen hadn't walked in, he would have fired the gun. We'll never know, but I like that he called home and he was like, yeah, I want to go to school. He's now, I mean, he'll have a criminal record for sure. He is known to have broken in and fired at them. He fired the gun. It's not like he could say, oh, I knew the other guy was coming and I was trying to protect you, because he fired it at them before the guy came in. So I'm intrigued again what's going to happen with that plotline. I don't think his dad is going to be very happy that his older brother allowed his son, who he has made it very clear he does not want in the crime family, to go on the mission, on the murder, the assassination, and finding out that as well they went after just your average butcher. He's not a secret hitman for Kansas City. He has no ties to Kansas City. If they look into him beyond the tiny bit they have, the rest of the family will learn that too. But of course he's furthering his agenda. He's always wanted this war, and they had a battle in the beginning of the episode where they massacred a lot of the heavy hitters. But Kansas City is a giant corporation crime syndicate. They have temporarily hindered them whereas this is a family, with their connected families, you know, they're not gonna, then the Gerhardts are not gonna win. Their only hope is to cause enough of a fuss, cause enough damage to the Kansas City people that they give up. But given that it seems like a very professional crime people running around in later Fargos, I feel like they're going to lose. The daughter, she is, again, I think you can really see how growing up in this kind of messed up environment messes you up, and especially when it's a generation that had multiple sons trying to do different things. The fact that the eldest son was raised to be a bastard, you know, he has no respect for women, whether it's his mother, his wife, or his daughter. I mean, when people talk about sexist people or men that are like horrible to women, they're like, or like rapists, they're like, think that could be your daughter or wife or sister, but a lot of men are just despicable, especially in the 70s. And his own mother can see that he's an awful, despicable person, but he's her precious boy. The one character in this show that I am rooting on dying is him, because he's an abuser, he is a sexist abuser, he's probably racist. I can't remember if he's actually ever said anything racist, but I'll just make assumptions. But no, obviously I think he should go to prison for his many crimes, but it's Fargo, he could die. And all of the different characters are just so fascinating within the crime family. There are such different dynamics. The daughter is selling secrets to the other side, and now she's terrified. She thought she kind of was being this powerful, seductive woman, that, you know, she was making her own, that she was tough. And no one person is tough in this world. If you are a single entity going there to talk to the bad guys in the middle of a war, and you haven't got solid bonds, you're gonna get scared, you're gonna get threatened, and they have her out, they want her now. Her dad will kill her if he ever finds out, regardless of what the grandmother says. I'm worried for her safety in the future. I kind of think she'd be better off if she just went off to school or college or however old she is and just left town, and not taking her sisters and her mother with her. Everything you learn about her dad, it just gets worse. The Kansas City people have had a setback, but I think they're just going to send in more troops. The most shocking thing to me was that one of the Kitchens died. Like, I think they were Kitchener, not Kitchener. One of them is dead. That I did not expect. At one point I thought they both died, but one dead, one not. And, you know, he just had no emotion on his face. I imagine he cried in private. That was shocking. The scale of the battle, the fact that the head honcho of the Kansas people was scared and basically ran away. I think it shows you that with corporations in particular, the higher-ups don't necessarily do that much fighting. They can maybe get there without shedding much blood or getting their hands too dirty, whereas in a family like the Gerhardts, if you want to get to the top, you've got your hands dirty. That is the difference. But the Kansas City people can afford this at the moment. I'm just scared for what else is going to happen collateral damage-wise. I'm pretty sure I remembered that Molly's dad was shot at some point during his time as a cop, and I know there was an incident with loads of bodies that is what caused him to stop being a cop. And I am wondering, I'm thinking it's this, and I'm also thinking that there is a chance that he's going to get shot at some point. Her mother, is she having side effects from the drugs, or is it just side effects, symptoms of the cancer? I am really sad because, like I keep saying, Molly's mum was not around in season 1, and I don't remember if they mentioned when she died. Like, did she die when Molly was 22? Did she die when Molly was 6? You know, we don't know. And so I'm kind of trying to brace myself for that tragedy, because I got everything I wanted in season 1. You know, the Solverson family flourished and was happy and warmed my little heart, because they do such a good job at making the characters and the families just feel warm and real. And I am loving their little family unit here. We're kind of a generation back. I'm loving it, but I am sad and stressed. The Reagan stuff largely went over my head. I don't know. I'm a history nerd. I studied history at uni. I love history, but I love medieval and back. Medieval, ancient. Modern history bores me to tears. And modern American history, modern English history, doesn't matter. Like, I did civil rights movement at school for GCSE. I was GCSE, but I don't know very much about America's recent history, unless it was in my lifetime. So I know Reagan existed, I know Vietnam happened, I vaguely think I knew about like petrol shortages and stuff, but I don't know particularly the political backdrop that is actually taking place right now. So that went a little over my head, but I definitely think you can see that Lou is currently feeling lost. He's, you know, dealing with probably the most severe case of his career, and his wife is dying, and is she on the placebo or not? He has a small child. Like, he's not doing too well, but he's a good man, and I believe in the Solversons. I've probably missed things, but this was just such a fantastic episode. I'm really stressed that I don't, like, I often worry when it's like not an episode with loads happening that I maybe just sat there. But I was interested, I was invested, and I really, really enjoy it. Thank you so much, Albert, for sponsoring this show. A reminder that you can find the unedited version of this reaction on my Patreon if you're on YouTube, and on Patreon you get the unedited 2 weeks in advance and the YouTube version 1 week in advance. And thank you so, so much for watching.